Hi, are you interested in digital painting? My name is Laura, and I am a professional artist and children's book illustrator. I started this channel to share painting videos and to hopefully help and inspire you. Today, I want to share with you my journey of learning digital painting. I studied graphic design in university, but learned painting mostly by myself. I definitely do not know everything, and I am still learning, but that is normal with art. All artists are always learning. In this video, I will talk about how I got started and what sort of art practice helped me. I will try to give tips that you can also use to learn art. But first, a few words about the painting you see here. This video has been sped up a lot. This painting actually took about 9 hours. I started with a really loose, messy sketch. Some artists start with a tidy line drawing, but this is what works for me. I will later make another video where I explain more about the steps I take with my paintings. I use Photoshop here. Like many artists, I drew a lot as a kid, mostly with pencils. I got my first computer around the year 2000 and started drawing on that. My first digital art was done with Microsoft Paint and a mouse. At this time, I drew mostly fan art for Naruto. I had friends who loved to do line art, but who did not know how to color, so some of my first digital art was actually coloring their drawings. Then I got serious about art around high school and started learning the fundamentals. At this point, I also bought my first drawing tablet. The technology has advanced so much since then that any cheap tablet nowadays is better than my first tablet. Please get one. Drawing with a mouse is just a risk for wrist injury. I have been drawing with Photoshop for over 2 decades now. Photoshop has actually changed a lot during this time, and the program I started with was very different than what Photoshop is now. There are also a lot of great, cheaper alternatives like Procreate and Clip Studio Paint, so please use whichever software you want. At first, learning to paint can feel very overwhelming. When I started, looking at paintings by master artists looked like magic. I did not understand how the colors were so beautiful or how the perspective looked so realistic. Actually, in the very beginning, my problems were very simple, like how to paint a tree, how to paint a cloud, and so on. I read many books about art. My favorite books when I started were by American illustrator Andrew Loomis. These books cover figure drawing, perspective, composition, and much more. Because the books are very old, most of them are in public domain and available for free online. I will put a link down below. Also later, James Gurney released 2 books that were very important to me: Imaginative Realism and Color and Light. Also, there are way more good art instruction books out there than I can read, let alone mention here. I also subscribed to a magazine called Imagine FX, which has a lot of tutorials, artist interviews, and inspiration. Imagine FX still exists, so I will link that below. Then I searched for tutorials online. At the time, the best place to look for them was DeviantArt. YouTube did not even exist when I was young, but you are lucky now because there are a ton of great resources online now. YouTube has many great videos for free, and there are online art schools such as Schoolism and many different courses. But you can't learn art only by reading and watching videos. Actual painting is most important. Try to paint something every day. Your first paintings will be ugly. Even now, some of my paintings are ugly. It is normal. Just use the ugly paintings as a learning experience. But what exactly should you paint? Firstly, it is very important to have fun. not everything you paint has to be an exercise. Sometimes paint for fun whatever you want. But when you do sit down to practice, there are things that I did a lot and I think you should do too. Firstly, anatomy. Get an anatomy book and practice from that. Then, get some good quality reference photos. I use a website called reference.pictures, but there are also free resources online. Paint a copy of the reference photo and pay attention to the proportions of the person and what different body parts look like from different angles. Do both quick 1-minute sketches where you just try to get the general pose and proportions right, and also do some long, detailed studies. Then, life drawing, both people and things. If there are life drawing classes available in your area, please join those. If not, just draw your friends and family while they are doing their everyday things, like cooking or playing video games. Also, you should draw objects and scenes from life. Draw your backyard and your bedroom and the bus stop. Draw your car and your dog and your fridge. I have done lots of small studies of random things like these. Then, color and light. Learning color theory includes reading books and watching videos about it, but you should also do color and light studies. Find photographs with good colors, or paintings by masters, or movie screenshots, and make a copy of that while paying attention specifically to color and light. I will later make an entire video about learning color and light, as that is something I'm very passionate about. Then, do master copies. Who is a master artist whose work you really like? Get a high-resolution version of their painting and make a copy of that. Think about why the artist did things the way they did. And make sure to learn from more than one master artist. I have made copies of, for example, old Russian landscape painters, modern-day digital masters, and comic book artists, because they each may have something very different to teach you. Also, you should learn perspective. Nowadays I cheat and use 3D software Blender for any remotely complicated perspective, but understanding how perspective works is still really important. It may seem really difficult at first, but the basics are actually not that hard. After you have done a bit of studies, don't forget to apply what you learned to your own creative work. Try to do a finished painting of whatever you are interested in, using the skills you just learned in these studies. And then you need some feedback on your drawings. I am lucky that I have friends who are also artists and who can take a look at my paintings. But if you don't know any other artists, join a community, for example on Reddit or Discord. If you want to be a professional artist, you will eventually reach the point where making a cool picture is not enough. You need to make artwork that fits a purpose. For example, at that point you need to know how to make artwork that works as a book cover. I studied graphic design in university. There, I learned how to design books, which makes me a better illustrator when it comes to book covers and book illustrations. Learning about advertising taught me how to make good advertising illustrations, and so on. It is never possible to learn everything, and as your skills as an artist get better, you will find constantly new things that you want to learn. Currently, I think I need to learn how to paint action scenes, because I suck at that. Also, whenever a client asks me to paint something that I have never painted before, then I have to learn how to paint that. I am currently working on a project that has a lot of animals in it, so I am learning about these animals. There will be times when you feel like you are not learning anything, but please don't give up. And if you start feeling burnt out, it's okay to take a break. Your goals may change during your art journey. At one point, I wanted to be a concept artist. I certainly did not think about making YouTube videos when I started. Stay curious and try to always be learning new things. Who knows where this journey leads you? This painting is now done. I got some feedback after I stopped recording. The colors in the background were too red and saturated, making it look like a forest fire instead of a sunset like I had intended. So I changed the background. I also made small adjustments to the foreground to make the picture less symmetrical. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, because I will be making more videos about art later. If you have questions or want to share your own experiences, please leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching.